We're talking about locking in. If you have not been paying attention to the news, you've been hiding under a rock. Y'all know Luigi Mangione. Was that his name? He is the guy who took out the CEO. And the only reason, one of the many reasons why he got caught, right? And I think it was the main reason is because he decided to smile at a barista at Starbucks, which, of course, you know, your favorite purple-haired barista. I smile at mine as well all the time. But this dude, while he was going on the mission, decided to smile at the barista right before or after. I don't remember. I want to say it was before. And that was like the only way they were able to capture his face. So while he was on a mission, it seemed like he did everything right except then. And I even heard some of the guys from the hostel where he was staying at said that even while he was asleep, he kept his mask on. So the one time he got distracted, completely ruined everything for him, and it's what got him caught, right? So I want to talk about staying locked in whenever you have a mission, whenever you want to accomplish something. Stay locked in and do not get distracted by shiny objects, which I think most realtors do get distracted by that because we do have a lot of free time. So, and there's always new things coming up, whether it be AI, a new book you should read, or a podcast you watch, and you want to implement these new steps, but it distracts you from what you're already doing and not mastering something, and also taking away from your goals. What do you guys think about that?
So in this case, what was the shiny object?
It was a purple-haired barista.
Have we confirmed that her hair in fact is purple?
No, but she worked at Starbucks. It's purple or blue. One of the two.
So
I mean, that just tells you that you have to be careful with women.
Is that what he didn't want to say it, but thank you for saying
That's
it.
distracting number one.
Yeah, distraction number one is women. Well, actually, not for Jovani.
That's a perfect time to bring up my favorite saying that I butcher all the time. It's you can make a lot of. You said you won't lose. You can make a lot of money.
It said, why don't you do it like a tree and split?
That's how I know you don't implement it.
Go ahead, hold on. Hey, let him say it. Let me
think it out, bro. I got a million thoughts in my head right now.
Go for it.
It's it said you could lose a lot of money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money. You know, so you gotta keep your eyes on the prize.
And that is facts. And who taught you that?
My Theo Nate,
right.
My sweet baby Jesus Nate.
I taught Jovani that too, but Jovani took it to the extreme, bro. He just don't chase women at all.
Let me tell you something. There's not that much more money on the other side of that. So chase some. It's okay.
Just don't be like Jovani.
Give yourself like 2 or 3. You know, it's okay.
You know.
So before we start, I'm looking for a sponsor, right? And is it Coca-Cola that we're after?
I've formally done my Coke Zero.
We submitted a formal request.
Sponsorship. I am looking to have a Coke Zero sponsorship on the podcast, so I'm excited for it.
I drink real Coke, and I drink Mexican Coke. So, you think I could get a sponsorship from Mexico?
I mean, if there's any local Coke dealers, we'd love to sponsor.
All right, let's get back to your topic, all right? Then
staying locked in.
Not get distracted staying locked in, not getting distracted.
Give your experience. As a broker, what is something that you could speak to that aspect?
So I'm gonna tell you something that you know, and I know Vick's gonna start with his crap over there and the other side, right? So now we're not in the same room anymore. So now I could just hear.
He can't even see me roll my eyes.
I can't even see him roll his eyes right now. And you know, and I always say the same thing, right? When I started real estate, you know, I didn't have. I didn't have.
Don't start.
I did not have high speed internet in my house, bro. I didn't. I don't know what.
Nah, bro.
I had it,
you be acting like you said high speed internet wasn't invented.
That's not what I said. I had AOL. You know, those little things that you would do the promo codes and it would give you like a couple of hours of internet and stuff like that through the phone. But I didn't have high speed internet in my house. I didn't even have a laptop. And so the thing is that
weren't those like calling cards or something like that?
I don't know what you used them for, Flor, but we used them to get on the internet.
So anyways, my point to that is that since I started in real estate, so I started real estate in 2004, right? Since I have started in real estate until now, technology has really advanced, okay? And around these times, right, you always find, around this time, everybody's getting ready for the next year, right? This is the last quarter of the year. Everybody's getting ready. They want to start the new year with fresh goals, affirmations and and all that good stuff that comes with being an entrepreneur and a real estate agent, a broker, or whatever, right? And there's tons of tools out there. I mean, there's so much technology. There's iPads. There's we were talking about Microsoft 365. There's CRM programs. There's trainings. There's books. People want to read books that are coming out. And sometimes you can get busy getting ready for something that you never start doing, because when you become an entrepreneur or you become a real estate agent, a lot of people don't know this, but the year is so small. The year goes by really quick. I mean, you turn around and it's like, okay, first quarter's done, second quarter's done. I mean, we're at the end of the year. We're at the last month of the year, and you spend, the first quarter and a half of the year getting ready for something, and you never make it out the you never make it out the box, right? You never just get out there and just do it, and so sometimes you just gotta scrap all that stuff. Sometimes you just gotta. And that was why this year, my biggest thing or my quote of the year was back to the basics, because man, grab your notebook, your pen, and your phone, make phone calls and get out there, And a lot of people did that this year, and they made a lot of money. A lot of my realtors made a lot of money.
Yeah, I think for me, when I think about that statement about staying locked in and keeping your eyes on your prize, man, I think about how there's so many distractions in real estate. As Nate was mentioning, there's so many tools and so many opportunities, a lot of different directions you could take your business in and what you can do. And you just have to commit to the things that you agreed to commit to at the beginning of the year. It's really easy. And I've done it before, and we've done it before in this company where, when we're a lot smaller and we wanted to, kind of change directions halfway through, just to end up kicking ourselves in the butt, to realize that we should have stayed the course because what we were doing was working. Maybe it wasn't as fast as you wanted to, and maybe, the results weren't as great as you wanted them to, but some results are better than no results. I take that into consideration anytime I want to change course. So many times I was just back and forth about things that I wanted to do. When I decided to commit to a plan and I keep my eyes on the prize, you're able to check off those milestones. You're able to see those accomplishments. You're able to track and gauge where you're at. And I think it's super important to just keep your eyes on the prize, and don't let the distractions distract you, right? And I know I'm saying a lot there without saying anything at all. But the reality is that you committed to the plan, and you need to commit to it for the year. There's so many times, especially at this time of the year, you want to get up and get away and start planning for next year and write this year off, and you don't have to, right? And I think this is kind of where we're getting to, no, Jovani?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. I mean, people forget a lot of times. Today is the 11th of December. That means that we have about another week and a half, a working week, where we can actually make some money from closing the deal, right? Because besides that, everybody else, title companies are closed or whatever it may be. But that's a working week where you can close. You still have another 2 to 3 weeks where you can actually work clients, where you can actually follow up with them, pick up clients to where other realtors are not picking up clients or not because they're not answering their phone. Flor just called me, I believe it was earlier today or yesterday, talking about a guy wanted to see one of her listings, and she's like, hey, they're not picking up. I've called a few realtors. Nobody's picking up, so I just decided to call you. So now we got to find another realtor to help him out with, looking at the property. And not just that, we're getting close to the end of the year. There's still 2024. We're still in 2024. Not until it's the first is whenever you're going to switch over to another year. So follow through. There might be some leads that you can pick up and finally close. I closed the deal, when was it, last year? Like the last day that you could actually close a deal in December. So there's still a lot of work to be done right now. And I think a lot of realtors brush it off. They want to go travel. Mm-hmm. They want to spend time with their family. There's nothing wrong with that. But you got to remember, right? Whenever other people have regular 9-to-5s, unless you have a specific clientele that doesn't have 9-to-5s, whenever they're off, you should be working. And it's super simple. So if they're off enjoying their family and they're coming in from out of town and they might want to view a house, you should be working then.
I think it's extremely important, like for you to kind of finish off strong on how you started, like that year. I feel like I believe about, like kind of closing cycles, like kind of, revising what you had said that you were going to do throughout the year and going through everything that you did throughout the year and, making sure what are the things that worked out for you, and if those things are going to work out maybe possibly for the next year, and revise everything that you did throughout the year if you accomplish all of those goals that were set at the beginning, and finish and everything strong. Because real estate, it's a business of planning. You are done with 1 week and you have to be prepared for what's coming for the next week. So I feel like kind of doing that revision really helps you on seeing the scoop of what's coming, like even for the first month of next year.
Yeah. So the thing, what I see in, and I've seen this for many years now, right? I always say that the last quarter of the year is only 2 months. It's not 3 months. And the reason that is because for 2 weeks in November and for 2 weeks in December, people do nothing. And I'm talking about, I'm just talking about, real estate agents. I'm just talking about everybody in general. Like title companies, people are off, people go on vacation, they're not here. So I do see that it's really easy for a lot of people to kind of, I don't want to say slack off, just kind of like, okay, let me get ready for next year. Right now, what we have is what I've noticed is that a lot of people are very, very optimistic about next year because of the way the elections came out, and they've kind of just said, you know what, I'm done with this year, and starting January, the first week of January, I'm gonna just start my career up again, And it's like, whoa, no, there's money to be made. I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting realtors, getting contracts. People are buying. There's a lot of people that are not influenced by that, by politics or by the economies. There's some people that have jobs and they want to buy a home. So I think everybody should like you said, lock in and just use this time to like Flor said, reflect on what you did right in the year and what you did wrong, right? And make whatever you did right better in 2025, and whatever you did wrong, stop doing it.
Yeah. I think for me, when I think about finishing strong all the time. Nate got to see me play football, and he knows I was the best football player in the world. And I was always taught that you have to finish strong and you got to keep going. And it's something that's always just been in the back of my mind. I think, and that's one of the biggest things that I hope to pass down to my boys is when they want to give up and they're wanting to stop. I tell them to keep going. I tell them to keep pushing. I'm hoping that if I create that little voice inside of their head, it gets them to do one more step, one more rep, one more whatever they're doing. If you just give it one more shot and just not leave things unfinished, if that's something that I could pass down to my boys, I would feel really proud and really accomplished to that. We can use that, in sports aspects, but I can use it a lot in real estate. Time after time when Nate and I were working at the builder and doing different things, there was a lot of times that we didn't need to finish the work. We've already done more than, what was expected or whatever. But, for us personally, we had to sit back, and I think we would both look at each other and be like, man, should we just knock it out? And we just knock it out today. And once again, I wish I could remember these sayings, that Nate said, because later I heard them and I realized, they were kind of just sayings and not really, his wise words, even though they are wise. Right. But it was, so if I butcher them, it's because I was taught wrong, but
no, the thing about it is, and I think I've said this before, I've always said this. I said there's nothing that I have invented. There's nothing that I have, I don't have anything that wasn't given to me. So all the sayings that I have, or all the training that I have, everything that I've learned, has just been from my sales, experience. Right. And I did, try to, whenever my nephew never had the makings of a varsity athlete, right? So when I noticed that he didn't have those makings, I decided to start showing him some of my sales techniques so that he can have he can learn how to develop those things, right? And so unfortunately,
and he mastered it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean he's done his own thing, And so what happens is that whatever I'm giving him is going to be watered down, right? Because I learned it from somebody else. And then I added my spin to it, and whatever he learned from whatever I've given him, he's going to give it to somebody else, right? Which he's given to Jovani, and it's watered down, right? Yeah. And Jovani's developing and making his own, and it's going to just keep going down the way.
Hey, bro, I don't need to get into the family tree of how the ideas go down
until
I'm just happy that he admitted that.
Hey, you admitted that you got the ideas for Jovani. That's all we heard.
I'm happy he admitted it.
I did. And so one day, how many generations is it that people get broke again?
Bro, 3 generations.
3 generations. So so it's gonna get so watered down that 3 generations from now, there's gonna be somebody's gonna be working at a car wash, looking at a Mercedes Benz and saying, "Man, I wish I had that car."
Hey, I will say that Nate and I have stagger fit our kids and myself almost exactly 10 to 12 years apart, and I think that we can make it. My boys were a little late. I should have had them. But they're pretty close to Ari's, as far as 12, 14 years, whatever it is. You're in that range where we stagger fitted enough that we can keep going. But that back to that saying is, and I don't even know if this is saying it, but it's something we used to say all the time. It's why put it off? Why put off today for tomorrow? You could just do it right now. Like, why put it off?
Yeah.
And that was something that we always did. That it was like, man, why have that stress? Why carry that workload? In real estate, it's such a difficult time to even buy yourself that peace and buy yourself that peace of mind. For us, just doing that work today meant so much more to us, right? We felt accomplished, and it's hard to feel accomplished in real estate. But if you keep your head down, you stay focused, you finish strong, you are able to finish. So even though right now I am looking for corrections on what I want to do next year, right now what I'm focused on is finishing strong. And I think Nate can attest to this, as far as, running this side of the brokerage, we have money conversations, right? And we have those conversations from, the different divisions that we have in our company. And, Nate's managing his and I'm managing mine. And when we're talking, Nate's like, hey, Vic, you're down on this side. And I'm like, hey, like, we're going to be fine. I have XYZ coming in. And Nate's like, bro, you have like 4 days left. Like, there's no freaking way. And I'm like, we have 18, we have 8 closings, 9 whatever amount of closings, coming in. Sure enough, we'd hit those numbers because we're focused on finish strong, making sure. I mean, you deal with it with the lenders, right? I don't think we talk about it enough on the real estate side. And I think it's because most real estate companies don't operate as a sales company. They might not have, the same pressures, but we do. I'm comfortable that I'm able to pull it out because we did those preparations. I'm not hoping for a sale to close in 7 days. These are closings that were in contract last month. We've already, gotten pushed over. We've already, had delayed inspections. We've already had everything. So, when I'm guaranteeing you XYZ closings by the end of the month, it's because I've already, appraisal's already done, everything. Nothing's a guarantee in real estate, right? But within that last week, I'd be pretty distraught if I lost, 8 sales in a week,
But that's funny that you said that right now, because a lot of people think that mortgage companies or finance companies are not. They're sales based. They're sales companies. They're not a finance. They're not. I mean, it's just so strange how people don't understand business. It's just like insurance as well, right? Insurance is a sales business. Some people have turned insurance into a multi-level marketing business.
Yeah.
But no, back to what Vic was saying, right? He said that we kind of just we didn't wait around. Like a lot of people don't understand this. We literally would be sitting down in my living room on the internet, right? When I finally got internet in my house. And we would find homes and we'd be like, man, this looks like a good home. Let's do a bid on it. And the bid's going to end tonight. We literally jump up at 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, 12 a.m. and drive all the way down. Remember one time we drove all the way down to Montgomery? We didn't even know what Montgomery was at that time. And we were in the sticks, like just dark, and went to go look at this house that was being foreclosed on, that we wanted to do a bid on it before the bid was up. And we just did it. We just got up and went. We have been harassed by neighbors, got the cops called on us, got chased off people trying to fight us. I mean, many times, right? We've, broken an entry.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to admit to those things. I don't know what you've done, but I haven't done anything.
Statutes of limitation have passed. So I have broken an entry. I have literally trespassed. I mean, we were trying to get these deals, and a lot of people don't see that. I wish. Well, no, I don't wish they had
those trespassing signs. Yeah. Those trespassing signs are like a yellow light to me. It's an invitation to go faster.
It's a hurry up. It's a trespassing signs are hurry up before they catch you. But no. So the thing is that I say that I wish that we had social media back then, so people could see the grind or the work that we did. But then again, on the flip side of that, I'm actually glad there was no social media, because we would have probably recorded ourselves doing some crazy stuff.
I think and not to say that I think a lot of the stuff we did record and we decided not to post, and some things were like,
true.
Oh man,
That's true, yeah.
This is a little questionable.
Yeah.
We should just save these for the memories.
Because
it's not.
MySpace existed back then, no?
MySpace.
Somebody was really big on C-Pixel.
I must admit that I never had a MySpace. I think the first social media I've ever had was Facebook.
Bro, I used to be able to hack people's messages on MySpace. It was the greatest thing in the world, bro.
So
oh man,
you had a playlist
I
of
had a
music you had
MySpace.
whenever you went onto the MySpace, and it automatically play the music.
Yeah.
Your playlist, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that
bro,
was cool.
that's why I feel like I could code a web page because of MySpace, bro. I could get down.
They have MySpace in Mexico? Flor said she had
Yes,
Flor said she had a MySpace.
Oh man,
They had internet over there at the time.
Oh my
Dang.
god!
I'm saying they had. I'm saying you did.
What was it? What was it called? Espacio Mío?
She
No, MySpace.
yeah.
Me space.
Mi space.
Mi espacio
Mi
sería.
espacio.
Yeah.
No, but to bring it back to reflecting, right? I just had this conversation with my team 2 weeks ago. I was telling them that it's super important whenever you're in business for yourself, you're in entrepreneurship, and especially if you're like the first of your family to do something like this, to actually not just do the self-reflection, but it needs to be almost done in a team atmosphere. Simply because you need other people around you who understand your thought process or what you're trying to get to. Because if you sit down and you write out your game plan, you reflected on what you did wrong, you're going to want advice on, hey, like, what could I have done better? Was this, did I really do this wrong? Did I not? And you show that to your family or somebody who's not in business, right? If your family's not in business, you show it to them, your friend group, whatever it may be, and they don't understand being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself. Even if they're trying to give you good advice, right? If they're not being negative about it, they really think they're trying to help you. It might be like the most terrible advice, right? Because automatically, like I've always said, right, whenever I first got into the business, like automatically the way my family tried to help me is, hey, go work this shutdown real quick. You'll make some money, then you can go back into business.
Yeah.
But then you're always on and off, right?
Yeah.
You're never 100% dedicated. So even though they're trying to help you and they're pretty much putting you on, be like, hey, look, there's $50,000 to be made right here in 3 months, 2 months, whatever it may be, you can reinvest it back into your business, but you're never dedicated to your business. So then you're losing 2 to 3 months. And whatever happens, that's in the sales season, then you really lose a year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like what I was telling my team is, whatever you're going through, if your family or your friends are not in business and they've never gone through something like what you're going through right now, bring it back to the team. Bring it back to your brokerage.
Yeah.
Talk to the people there. That way you have the same mindset and you can work out things together.
Yeah.
And that's why it's super important, like with my meetings every single week, is to have everybody in person. Because yes, I have my meetings. I have my little lecture that I give at the very beginning.
Don't belittle your lecture, dog.
but no.
Right? But I have my lecture that I give in the beginning. And then afterwards, everybody hangs out and we talk about stuff.
I think what you're saying is really important because at the end of the day, you have to kind of revise that plan that you have and have that feeling of accomplishment of whatever you had planned throughout the year, the things that you were able to accomplish or not. I feel like having that little boost of, like I hit this goal, it's really important, like to keep you going on the things that you have set, like for the future.
Yeah. So like Jovani was saying, nobody is going to understand. If they're not an entrepreneur, they can't understand. If they're doing a 9 to 5, when I started doing this business, man, just you don't even understand.
Back in 1988.
Yeah. No. I didn't have any support because nobody in my family was doing what I was doing. And everybody was just kind of like, of course, come from a Mexican family, right? Right away, I'm selling drugs. Oh no, he's selling drugs. There's no way he's making money doing that. I'm like, yes.
It's either that
I thought he was selling drugs because he came from a Mexican family. I was like, hold on, bro.
I was like, wait, hold on. Come on.
No.
Wait,
No, I feel like
easy.
it's either that, which you said,
He
or
said, I got my first sales experience.
No.
or they're
was like,
waiting for you
wait.
to fail.
They're waiting for you to fail because you see, and this is the thing, and that's it takes a lot of patience, a lot of humility, a lot of it takes a lot out of you when you're the first person in your family to become an entrepreneur and to make sales or running business your way of life, because they see you doing that and it's like, okay, this guy is not at work all day. He's playing around. He's doing this. And especially now with social media, it must be tough, right? For other people, right? Because it's like he's playing around on social media all day long, right? He doesn't answer phone calls, obviously, because he's not answering my phone calls. How is he making money? He has to be doing something illicit, right? And so then it just kind of gets to that point where it's like, I'm here at my job, busting my butt, been doing it for 10 years. And this guy's out here, making more money than me probably, because look at all the things he has. Oh no, it has to be something. He's selling drugs. He's doing something that he's not supposed to. He's going to get busted. He's going to go down, right? And they're kind of low key hoping on your downfall. They're hoping that you fail. They're hoping that you stop. They're hoping that one day somebody's going to say, oh yeah, he was laundering money or he was whatever. And then and it's like, I knew it. I knew that his way wasn't the right way, and the thing about it is like you feel like, like these are not friends, right? These are not colleagues. These are not your sphere of influence, right? These are family members. These are like these are your blood,
Like,
right?
man, with family like yours, who needs enemies?
Right? That shit, dude, you are not lying.
You know what?
Man.
I want to
You're
go
not
ahead and add something to my statement that I told my realtors. For those of you watching, right? I always said that a lot of times they do really truly want to help you. Well, sometimes I guess from what Nate just said, they really don't want to help you. It's really bad advice.
Nobody was interested.
General,
They
it's
don't.
really
Nobody's
bad
interested in
advice.
helping me. Yeah.
What was that? What was the advice you were going to give?
Well, that sometimes it's genuinely bad advice. It's not that they're trying to help you. Yeah, they're really trying to get preying on your downfall.
I had the pleasure and opportunity to speak at the TSU conference and on their little radio show, and then like a conference after, something that they did. This was a couple years ago, and shout out to Jamie and Graves. We're talking about family and the importance of family, and it's like, they do mean well and they do want to help, but they don't even know how, and you can't really fault them for the feelings that they have, because genuinely, I think that entrepreneurs and salespeople in general, I think that we are a light for most people in our circle, right? We have and sometimes things that they want, whether it be a lifestyle, whether it be flexibility, whether it be a lot of things, and if they can take their own emotional, whatever feelings away from it, genuinely, you've always been a light for them. So they probably don't want to see you like fall. So they're just trying to prepare you for that fall. And it was kind of like a weird kind of way of thinking of it. And I've always been that way. I've always looked at the optimistic side and the what if side versus this is who they are. And it's gotten me, into some tricky situations, but emotionally it's helped me be a better person to not hold on to a lot of those things, which is why when I speak to my team, the biggest thing that I tell them, it's you need to self-reflect. I'm not telling you to reflect with other people or have conversations with anybody or even open up about your feelings to anybody. Because if anybody that knows me, I'm pretty emotional. I sell an ethos, I sell an emotion. I've always talked in that way. But as far as opening up to my own personal, true feelings, one or two people that I ever really do that to, because, they don't know you, so they can't really give you advice. So that's why I say self-reflection is the best way. So I look at the pros and cons of the year. I look at what I've done in my business, what I said I was going to do that I didn't do. I look at every aspect of my business, whether I was tracking the way I wanted to, whether I showed up every day the way I was supposed to. And And to Jovani's point, you know, if you go into real estate with a mindset that you can go work somewhere else or you can do something else, you're never going to give this 100% because you always have somewhere else to run to. And we never had anywhere else to run to. So we didn't have another choice but to self-reflect and make this work. Get better every time, get better every day. And, you know, I'm gonna give you advice, Jovani, you know, on how your family says, hey, go work a shutdown, or the people that said, hey, go work that shutdown. I'm gonna translate the way I hear that advice. The way I hear that advice is, you're not doing enough in your day to day. You should go do something to earn this $50,000. Because when I hear that, I go back and I put myself in the mindset of working that shutdown or that, you know, 9 to 5. And I think about everything I accomplished during the day. I got there at 9 o'clock, right? I did all my emails. I responded to everybody so nobody will mess with me. And then I'd open up my Yahoo page and spend like an hour on it. And then I'd get back and do a little bit more work. And then I would go to lunch. And then I'd come back. I'd get there like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then I'd knock out work till like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So those are the things that I would do. Even then, I always say that corporations lose a lot of money by productivity all the time. Let's say I was only giving this company 4 or 5 hours of hard work, dedicated work. Are you even doing that in your own business? Are you giving yourself 4 or 5 hours of dedicated work? You know, right now I just sat down with a group of, you know, media guys or realtors, you know, here, and we gave dedicated work, right? And we, you know, in essence, knocked out 30 days worth of work in 1 hour, 2 hours. Right. And this is not the end of it. It's not like knocked out 30. It was just a good, solid foundation for what we need to do. And now we can execute week to week. And those are the conversations I hear. So to translate for you, Jovani, or what I hear when my family tells me, oh, you should go get a job, you should go do this. It's I'm not working hard. I'm not being intentional with the things I'm doing day to day. So I'm not able to produce the way I want to produce. So you need to self-reflect. You need to be honest with yourself. And that's the biggest thing. I will give Nate, you know, this credit that Nate said, one time he said, man, you could lie to everybody else, lie to me, lie to your mom, lie to your brother, wife, friends, family, lie to whoever else you want, but don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't make yourself believe something that you're not doing. And I've always held that true because, you know, it gets really easy to convince yourself that you're doing the right things. But if that money's not coming in and those things aren't happening, then you're not doing it. You're not doing the right thing. So, you know, be honest with yourself. Lie to everyone else, but don't lie to yourself. And you know, most importantly, self-reflect. No one can help you other than you. It's you versus you every time.
Yeah.
100%.
Man, this podcast is awesome, bro. Me and you, Jovani, been vindicated. First, you got credit. Now I got credit.
I always deserve the credit. It's the way I feel in general. But so now that we got to that point, right, to what Vic was saying is, what advice would you give? Which I hate this question because I feel like it's played out. But I mean, it's true. We're at the end of the year. What advice would you give, not just to your younger self, right, but to somebody who is starting in this business or somebody who feels like they're lost? Right now, at the end of the year, what advice would you give them?
I wanted to jump in and throw some context on that, right? This was a bonus question that we talked about earlier. Nate said, you know, you look at a lot of people and you tend to throw a little bit of judgment here or there, right? But when you started, how difficult was it for you, you know, and not talking down on other people? And I don't think we touch enough about this on the podcast and let this part of ourselves kind of come out. So I did want to ask that question, Nate, because, you know, we shared something pretty, you know, personal or you know, whatever with earlier. Yeah. And that is what I want you to kind of.
So there's a new I guess a new brokerage, right? And you know, one of my media team guys was kind of, you know, picking it apart, right? You know, and so I just kind of sat there and I have been, you know, I've picked apart, you know, new companies that have formed lately, right? And so one day I was really dogging this one, you know, a brokerage, right, that just started. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are so tacky and this and that and the other. And my wife heard me, and my wife said, she goes, hey, she said, don't you remember when we started? He goes, how many people laughed at us? How many people laughed at your logo? And I'll never forget, because, you know, my wife, you know, she used to work for a builder, and I remember the VP, the vice president of the builder, you know, was pretty much trying to get her to stay on. And so she was like, she showed him our logo and said, "Oh no, look, I'm quitting. I'm gonna, me and my husband, we're gonna do this and start this brokerage, etc." And the VP looked at our logo, our new business card, and he laughed and he said, "Man," he goes, "You must really love this guy." and I'll never forget. My wife told me that. My wife was upset. My wife was like angry, like no, you don't know what he's capable of. You don't know what we're gonna do, And so when she told me that, I kind of saw myself, and I don't know if because this new brokerage, it was a Latin couple, right? I don't know if I saw myself, after and initially I didn't see myself, right? Because I'm surrounded by a bunch of little sharks, right? But
don't belittle your sharks.
She kind of reminded me of a better time, right? So then I sat there and I said, you know what, you're right. So I started trying to be a little bit more I guess understanding to people that are starting their brokerages or starting their companies, and so I feel like this is not nothing new, right? I've always been saying. Go ahead.
I want to jump in from our broker standpoint.
Yeah.
Take the conversation in that direction, because we when we started this brokerage, it was the same thing. I personally didn't like the way teams were taking advantage of their realtors. Mm-hmm. You have a broker eating up their deals. You have a team leader eating up their deals. And then you have this realtor that's looking for help and guidance that aren't really getting taught much.
Yes.
And I know that we've talked in the past, Nate feels like I had a similar structure, here. And that conversation, just to address those thoughts are... I want you to show me that you're committed to this, and when you're committed to this, and we're willing to give you everything in the world. But what I don't want to do is waste my time on people that aren't serious about themselves and their career. Now, the moment that you teach, you show that loyalty, you show that commitment, you show that dedication, then we are willing to give you any and every resource at our disposal so you can be successful and have a successful career. And I want to extend that invitation out. Here at Lionsgate Realty, we want to be your home. We welcome you with open arms and we welcome you with hard work, because that's what this business is. And if anyone has lied to you, if anyone has said anything to you in a different way or in a different light that has painted this business in a different way, it's not what it is. It's hard work. There's a lot of learning, and you're not going to learn everything in 3 months. It doesn't matter what brokerage you join, no matter what big name person, you have to have a team. You have to have a structure. We spoke to somebody at a marketing event the other day, and they were mentioning that they left a big name brokerage, even though they had all the tools and all the media capabilities and the CRMs and websites and every single tool you could want at their disposal. It doesn't matter if you have no guidance, and that is how we've built our brokerage. I mean, Nate, am I wrong there? Is that how you feel?
No. That's exactly how I feel. And the thing is, it's tough building a brokerage, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And I say, you don't make money immediately from your brokerage. It takes it takes you a while for you to even see any kind of, and not even profit, just break even points, right? You have to be a producing broker. You have to train. You have to compliance. I mean, it's a lot of work. And so that's why I always welcome people. I say, hey, look, you want to be a broker, but come here and learn how to be a realtor first, right? Not what you've been taught out there, And the thing about it is that what you were saying, that there's a lot of teams, right, or team leaders that they just really take advantage of their realtors, and their realtors don't know any better. They're just happy to be part of the camaraderie, and what happens is that those people that the brokerages that have those team leaders that do that have brokers that just don't care. They don't have the time to train. They don't have the time to do these things. So they just let these team leaders run around like crazy and do whatever they want to do. And it all ties back to, it all ties back to commission, right? And it's, what I always say, right? It's 100% of your commission, 100% of zero is still zero. So if you get 100% commission, it doesn't matter. You're still not learning. You're still not being taught anything. And the thing is that, as a broker, you're hiring realtors, right, as apprentices. So the broker has to have a certain percentage for them to be able to reinvest into the brokerage so that you can have a home the next year, so that you can have a place to to work out of. And whenever you're just always about is me, and this is something that I always hear, I hear realtors, right? They're like, oh yeah, I'm with such and such brokerage, but I'm just there for right now because I'm trying to build my own thing, and it's like, well, what is that broker doing to help you build that? Well, nothing,
I think there's a lot of like misconception on, really what a broker or brokerage should do,
Yes.
for an agent. I feel like nowadays with all of these teams that you see like all over social media popping out left and right, I feel like a lot of agents, construct that idea or misleading idea of, what a team does and what a brokerage does.
Yeah, and that's essentially what a team is doing. They're replicating a brokerage within a broker, so they're really just getting like I said, they're getting a watered down version of whatever that brokerage really has to offer. And that's why we work differently here. And of course, Vic can attest to how we work here, right? It's way different, And so, just to clarify, Vic, right? A lot of people are like, oh, and nobody dares, right, send me a message or DM me or ask me or tell me in person, right? Which I think is kind of weird. I'm like, hey, if you really have a problem with me, tell me. Why are you telling my realtors, or why are you complaining about me to other people? But people are always like, hey, Nate's always dogging, teams and this and that and he has teams. And I'm like, yes, I do have a team. I have a team structure, but my team structure is way different. And it's not. And I like the way that one of my realtors put it. Right. She said it's not the realtor name. And the chipmunks. It's an actual team. Because Jovani has a team, right? So it's not Jovani and the chipmunks. It's Jovani and then his team, and he helps them develop their career, and everybody gets paid. Jovani doesn't take a split from them. He gets paid from the brokerage. And so the thing is that, I'll let Vic dive a little bit deeper into it. Vic, just, explain exactly how our teams are different from all the other teams out there that are
So that's my thing. I started looking into how we were going to structure the company when we decided to grow, and I think we threw a bunch of different ideas out. And when I selected who I wanted to be my competition, because you do have to select who your competition is. At that point, I was looking at different brokerages, and I saw these brokers had a lot of teams and team models, and it didn't make sense to me when I realized how they were getting paid. And then I started getting angry and I started getting upset because I realized that they were just taking advantage of these young, naive realtors. And most of the time they didn't even care if they sold, if they built their business. They just wanted to milk them for their one or two deals. So I got to work on how we wanted to build this brokerage and what I wanted to do. And obviously with Nate, we started thinking about what we stood for and what we were looking to be and what we wanted to how we wanted to impact the real estate industry. And our team model was very simple. I started with a challenge to myself, of recruiting a certain amount of realtors. And I wanted 1% of my market share. That's what I want. And then from there, I started building down into how many people I can actually help. So at that time, we had like 12, 14 people, and we had started recruiting pretty heavily. And I got to 30, 35 agents kind of very quickly, and my work-life balance fell. Like I wasn't helping my realtors enough. I wasn't taking care of my business enough. I was good for nothing, literally. I wasn't a good manager and I wasn't a good realtor, and I was just failing at both. So I kind of trickled back down to that 20 number, and I felt that was really manageable. I was still a great agent and I was still a great manager, and I had I had a good time with my agents. I was able to help them, give them that one-on-one, them really build them up, and so they can be their own people. And from there, that was the number. So our structure is not in the way of a team where a team leader is going to come in here and take from their realtors. They're just not going to do that. I make our managers put me in a group chat, or their sales managers put in a group chat when they're willing to give each other deals or when they have to charge something. They also have to send us an email, Nate and I, and we have to sign off on that extra fee getting paid to that realtor. And we do that so there's fail safes and there's checks from a manager being able to take commission from the agent. And we kind of channel that up in the CDA. If we see something weird in the CDA, we go back and we call and we make sure that everything's okay. It's very, very difficult for you to steal from an agent at this brokerage or for you to take advantage of an agent here at the brokerage. And because of that, we will say, or I would admit, it has slowed some of our growth. It has hindered some of our growth. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with building a quality product with people that care about us and that we care about, other than just letting this company get away from us and what we wanted it to be. I don't need to be the most wealthiest brokerage in the world. I want to be a brokerage that stands by their agents and defends them.
And that's something that's super important, right? Because like you said, we're looking for quality, not quantity. It's not hard to get 100 real estate agents. It's not hard to get 1,000 real estate agents. I've seen it. Not just that. It's not hard to get a bunch of realtors to sign up, and you make a lot of money off junk fees, and just let them run around and do whatever they want, which is what every real estate agent let me rephrase that. It's what most real estate agents want to do. They want to run around and do whatever they want to do and figure it out and do what they think real estate is, versus getting in here, learning how to do the work, learning your strengths and your weaknesses, and work on your weaknesses, and make money off your strengths. And that's what we try to do here, and like Vic said, that's why our growth is slow, but we're getting on 20 years doing this, and it's like, I've been in the business 20 years, but we're going 20 years as a brokerage. We're about to hit 20 years, and why have we lasted? Why can I compete with all these brokerages? These commercial franchise brokerages. Why can I compete with all these real estate companies that pop up and go out of business? Because I'm growing something that's gonna last. I'm trying to leave something here,
And obviously, the strategy is working.
Yeah,
I can tell you why we do this, because we stay locked in. We keep our eyes on our prize. We finish strong, right? And then we self-reflect.
So I'm gonna tell you. Look,
that was full circle.
I'm a name drop real quick, okay? And I just want to show you. Not show you, but I just want to talk about somebody that has really irked me, right? And that really bothers me, right? And so when I got into this business, right? There was I started my career here in Spring, and one of the most dominant real estate companies here in Spring, right, was Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, right? And I knew them. I met them. I was even thinking about joining them at one time. They were with Remax, okay? These guys were like farming this area. They made a lot of money. They were really tied into the community, really doing all the work they were supposed to be doing. I think they even got mentioned in a few books, $1 Million Producers, and all this stuff. They did what they were supposed to do, right? But he is a perfect example of how some of these brokers really just do not care about their realtors, do not care about their legacy, do not care about the future. All they care about is making their money and running. And that's exactly what this guy did. He came in here, went just full throttle in the real estate business, made a lot of money, made a lot of people believers, right? Because I even had some real estate agents, that I lost to him, that, I'm gonna join, Remax, because Remax is the best, and Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, everybody knows him, and they have their name everywhere, right? And they went and go join that company, and what ended up happening to them, right? Well, they sold their Ronnie and Kathy Matthews name to Remax. So even after they left, Remax, they were running Kathy Matthew Remax. They weren't even running the company. Somebody else was running the company, right? Then somebody bought them out. So now, same building, same everything. You drive by there, it's Ronnie and Kathy Matthews EXP.
Yeah,
and they don't even own it.
Yeah, so I did a little more digging on that, because they were my they were somebody that I did look at, and I was in awe that they had This is a different point of view. I mean, obviously, I wasn't at a brokerage level at that point. I was just an agent, trying to make it, and I lost deals to them, and I came up in that foreclosure, era. Sorry, and clients would go to them because they had a buyback guarantee. They would sell your house in 90 days, and they'd buy it no matter what. And when they decided to exit the business, they became employee owned. So they allowed their team to buy their brand. And then I'm not going to say they proceeded not to do anything about the brand because no one talked bad about them, but the brand died out slowly. You went away from seeing a parking lot full of Priuses with their logos and everything on there to shortly not having those cars. And then shortly after renting half that building to a chiropractor. And those are things that I always kept an eye on because they had a stronghold in the market that I wanted to get into. And I was never able to get into there. And when I started marketing it, they left an area ready for you to, kind of to take. They needed home sales and needed, somebody to follow the process. So that goes back from a realtor perspective. And I said this, a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it again. There's always someone younger, stronger, hungrier coming after your job. So you got to keep working every day because you don't know if there's, somebody like me just watching your every move and watching you, for you to fail to jump into your market. Because the moment that happened, which wasn't too long ago, by not even my choice, just office shutting down, ending up in spring, having to go active in other offices that were a private. I'm going to go after that market wholeheartedly. I mean, it's there for the taking. And, I think you have to keep your eyes on those things. And then as an agent, don't get intimidated and don't feel like you don't belong. Your time is coming. You just stay the course and you work for that.
Yep, and that was full circle, and we got to get out of here, guys. So go ahead and let everybody exit out. I am Jovani, grace yourselves, here at the HBR Podcast, Houston Business and Real Estate, powered by Lionsgate Realty. Find me on Instagram as Jovani_Frank.
Yep. I am Victorino Cortez. You can find me on Instagram at Real Presidente. Once again, at Lionsgate Realty, we are hiring, we are recruiting. I want your problems. Bring them to me. Let me help you fix them.
Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty. You can find me on all my social medias, Flor Velasquez Realtor.
And I'm Nate Balderas. You can find me on all my social media outlets at Better Call Nate. And once again, just trying to come full circle with this whole real estate thing. Next year is going to be awesome. So if you're in real estate and you are not making money right now, come talk to us and we will show you the way.
All right. Until next time.